Yo, PC fam, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Chill with Chill. Happy to have y'all. Playoffs are not disappointing. Chill. Let's just get straight into it. We only got that day. We don't got no time to waste. So obviously, the title is about Boston and their game yesterday. They're still 3-2 to the Knicks. We can dive deeper into that series and all the intricacies here in a little bit. Right now, let's talk about the team because there are two teams that we know are going to be in the conference championships. That's Indiana and Minnesota.
Right.
Sure. I want to start with Minnesota. I want to talk about how they've been playing, the stars over there. Obviously, Julius Randle, you know what I'm saying, playing really good playoff basketball, and they've been calling him a playoff dropper forever. And also want to talk about their actual chances at winning the championship. So let's start with Julius.
Well, let's talk about Julius Randle. Julius Randle, before he got to the Minnesota Timberwolves, was averaging in the regular season. He was a 22-10 guy. The playoffs, he drops from 22-10 to 17-7 in the playoffs. He was playing at the level that he's playing now because as of today, he's averaging 23-8 in the playoffs. So with that being said, Ox, he was playing at that level. It just didn't translate into the playoffs. So now when you have a number one in Anthony Edwards and you got a competent number one, in Anthony Edwards, and then you got a competent number two in Julius Randle, your life is a lot less difficult than what it was in the past. Now, can this Minnesota team with Jaden McDaniels, who's picked up his scoring from the regular season into the postseason, not just him, Naz Reid, who, and I'm going to say it because there's some people who I don't think will just want to say it. I think they're going to lose him in the offseason because they're going to have to pay him, and I think they're going to end up losing him. That's going to be a money game with them. But what Naz Reid brings to them as a rotation guy off the bench, I can't speak enough about what Rudy Gobert has done for this team, just from a defensive aspect, just from a defensive standpoint. They're one of the 10 best defensive teams in the game when Rudy Gobert is on the floor. And they're one of the best defensive teams in the playoffs when Rudy Gobert is on the floor. So with that being said, Big Ox, with your rotation guys of DiVincenzo, who led the playoffs last year in long balls and is still as effective this season, on top of him, Alexander Walker, they got 7-8 guys with Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle and Jaden McDaniels playing as well as they're playing. I give them as good a chance in the Western Conference Championship. I had picked Oklahoma City because Minnesota wasn't what I thought that they were going to be early on in the season. There was a stretch where they looked like they weren't going to make the playoffs. But when Julius Randle came back from his injury, they ended up going 14-3. Julius Randle was averaging over 20 a game. He looked fantastic. They've been nothing short of fantastic. If he could continue to play the way he's playing, Ox, I really like them in the Western Conference. I'm not sure if they can beat Oklahoma City. I don't think they can beat Oklahoma City, but I do like them. I like that to be a competitive series off the strength of how many grown-ups I have. Because I know how you feel, Ox, about those kids over in Oklahoma City. How many grown-ups I have in Minnesota. I got a grown-up in Rudy. I got an adult in Julius Randle. I got an adult in Naz Reid. I got an adult in Mike Conley. I got a bunch of grown-ups over here. A lot of people would confuse grown-up with being old. Nah, these guys aren't old. I mean, Mike Conley a little longer in the tooth, sure, but Rudy Gobert is still in his prime. Julius Randle is in his prime, and Naz Reid is in the beginning of his prime. So I got a bunch of adults on this team. So I like their experience and I like their toughness, which I thought Julius Randle brought to this team before the season started. That's why I had picked them in the NBA Finals. That was something that I felt like they didn't have. And now that they got Julius Randle, they have so much more of that. So I do like their chances, Ox.
Well, what about that matchup, though, the OKC matchup? Like, is that like as far as excitement level, good basketball, marquee matchups? What can we get from that? Like, I would prefer to see Minnesota versus OKC than Minnesota versus Denver. I think it'll make for more exciting basketball. Sure. I'm all for what's good for the league, what's good for basketball. I want views to go up. I want people to support the NBA. I want to watch good basketball. I'm a hoop fanatic, so I would love to see that. I wonder though, what can we get from that from Shea and Ant? Can we get like one of those duels? Can we see those two guarding each other a little bit? I'm sure we'll see Ant guarding Shea, but we see any Shea guarding Ant? Will we get some of that back and forth from those two guys?
We just got a taste of it, Ox, in the Boston Knicks series when Jason Tatum got hurt. I mean, we had a duel going on, and I think that Anthony Edwards is the consummate competitor. He's the guy that you are going to compete against me, and if you don't, I'm gonna take your lunch. And SGA is not one of those guys who is a rah-rah guy, but he's also not one of those guys that's gonna back down either. So I definitely think that we could get a duel. The thing that I'm digging the most, because I'm a big man, I'm a fanatic, Ox, and I dig the dual bigs with Oklahoma City, and I'm also feeling that with both Minnesota, with both Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert, because I feel like we could get ourselves a classic gritty series. I think we can get ourselves a classic dirty work series. Now, don't get me wrong, Ox. I'm looking forward to in the end when it's a 94-90 game and it's 6 minutes left, and we basically ripping up the game plan. And hey, I need a bucket. SGA, I need a bucket, and this is what it turns into. I'm all for that, but I think that we're going to get that classic big man confrontation if Oklahoma City moves on.
And I know basketball is not just 1v1, like this person's better than this person. That's his matchup, so that's who's gonna win. I know that's not how it works. I know there's so much more intricate things that go into it: game plan, scheme, luck. You know what I'm saying? Ball going in, ball bouncing this way or that way. Everything goes into it. You know what I'm saying? Execution, all that, right? But I'm still looking at Jaden McDaniels and J Dub. You know what I'm saying? I'm still looking at Nikhil and Dante and Alex Caruso and Lou Dort and Aaron Wiggins and all of that. I'm looking at that. I want to see that. I'm looking at Julius and Chet. I'm looking at Nas and Chet. I'm looking at Isaiah and Rudy. I'm looking at these matchups and I'm getting excited. Like I'm really hoping for that one. I've already made my take and I'm gonna stand on it. I think the Nuggets are probably taking a 7, but I don't care. The Kings ain't in the playoffs. you know what I mean? Chill. I don't care. Shit, I want to see some good basketball.
I think you're gonna get some good basketball too. Yeah. I do. I think you're gonna get some really good basketball. I picked Oklahoma City before the series started. I picked them in 6. I just felt like their perimeter defense. I felt like that was going to be the difference in this series, and I felt like that's what it's been. I think that they've taken MPJ out of this series. I think that they've done a great job in slowing down Jamal Murray in the fourth quarter, which would explain why I want to see them against Minnesota in the Western Conference Finals off the strength of that right there, Ox. Because if you factor in how good Anthony Edwards is as a one-on-one player, as a guy who gets downhill, that was one of the main reasons why the Lakers couldn't do anything with him, because they ain't had anybody who could stay in front of him. They had nobody who could stay in front of him with the Lakers. And then we can add that to what was going on against Golden State. I thought that they did a better job of staying in front of him. Now, he was able to still get to his shots, but as you know, when we move on to the later rounds, what I got away with in round 1, I'm not going to be able to get away with in round 2. Sorry. What I got away with in round 2, I'm not going to be able to get away with that in the Western Conference Championship or the Eastern Conference Championship, because the teams are better, schemes are better, coaching is better. And this Oklahoma City team, they got, in terms of perimeter defenders, they got 5-6 guys who will stand in front of Anthony Edwards and make him beat them. On top of that, they also have such great, they're great connecting defenders, where we're not just going to leave Alex Caruso on an island, even though he's probably looking at them going, I can handle him. They're not going to leave him out there on an island. So I'm looking forward to the series, Ox, and I hope I really hope I get that.
Yeah, me too. Real quick though, I know this is not typically what we do on the show, but I'm dropping the link. Anybody's welcome to click on the link. I'm not going to the lobby till a little bit later till we get past some more NBA news and whatnot. And unless it's classic, click that link, brother. You said something in the chat today that was so egregious. I need you to come up right now and let me know, are you trolling or are you gonna stand on that? Classic, please click the link. And then and everybody else, you can click the link right now if you want to, but I'm gonna get you in a little bit later. But Classic, you need to answer for this, bro. Click that link, please. Chill.
Yes, sir.
So that's the West. We got a team in hold on. Hold on, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, classic.
Yo, what up? What up, Ox? What up, chill?
Mm-hmm.
Did
What
you
up,
say
brother?
that? Did you? What did you say in the chat, alluding to Derek White being better than Manu Ginobili?
Oh yeah, yeah. With that, I mean that was a little troll, but I do think
Oh,
that Derek White would still give the same impact that Ginobili would give though, just
Mm-hmm.
because of his 3 point shooting. He's a much better 3 point shooter than Ginobili. So I don't think you get a drop off, but I'm not gonna just say that he's better than Ginobili. I was just yeah, that was a little troll tree right there.
okay, all right, all right. But so
Right.
don't leave the lobby. You know what I'm saying? Unless you got something to do. But I'm gonna get back to you in a minute.
All
Yeah.
right.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. Whew.
Hey,
So,
let me tell y'all something. Y'all bring up Ginobili. Y'all bring up Ginobili. Ox gonna have a word with you. He need to talk to
yeah,
you.
we
Uh-uh.
we need to rap because I need to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so the Pacers, they're they're at home doing whatever
Yep.
they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Preventative things, you know what I'm saying, recovery things, game film things, war
Mhm.
rooms, activities, I'm assuming.
Sure.
Rick Carlisle is a vet. I know he's getting his team prepared. He's been through this before.
Mhm.
Young team. You know what, Chuck? I need you to set me straight, please. I need
Yep.
you to set me straight because this is one of these times where I might be missing what y'all are seeing, and I want to know. Could you please break it down to me why this Pacers team is so threatening? Why is everybody so worried about this Pacers team? And then I need you to also let me know: is this team winning the West? I mean,
I
I'm
think
sorry,
one,
winning the East.
I think one of the main problems that you're having with this Indiana team is the star power. And what I mean when I say the star power, that one guy that you can consistently trust, like for a fact, like this is the guy. And you've always, Ox, you've always told me about how important KG was, right? You've always told me about how important Manu Ginobili was. You've always told me about how important Scola was, guys like that. Well, they don't have KG, but they do have Scola. They do have Ginobili. And they got a bunch of those guys. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say that Manu Ginobili is that expendable, but they got somebody in that kind of mold that's going to do those things. And if you got a bunch of those guys with a star in Tyrese Halliburton, if you got a guy that takes care of the basketball, that shoots the basketball like he does, it's not a detriment to you where his assist to turnover ratio is higher, where you know for a fact that we're going to be able to run, and with us running, we're going to get something good. Pascal Siakam, one of the best transition players in the game. I'm running with Tyrese Halliburton. I know he's going to get me involved in the game. I know that Nesmith, one of the most energetic guys in the game, who's got a motor like no other, I know he's going to cause havoc. And with him causing havoc, that's going to enhance our transition game because we're going to get steals. We're going to get turnovers. When I have our rotation guys like your man Conley, who's going to continue to steer the ship. We might not get the same amount of offense. We might not get the same amount of buckets, but I can tell you what we're not going to get. We're not going to get the boat diverted somewhere else. The boat's going to keep going straight. Not only is the boat going to keep going straight, he's going to keep these troops settled. Guys like Mathurin coming off the bench, guys like Obi Toppin coming off the bench. We all stick to the game plan. And if you have a bunch of guys that are locked in, I think that that's more important than one star. And I feel like this Indiana team, I mean, they got a star, but I feel like they got more guys than they have a star. That's why I feel like when I'm playing, if they end up playing the Knicks, which I think they are, I feel like they get it done with less energy as opposed to the Knicks, who exert way more energy to get done what Indiana's trying to get done.
So chill. When I'm on my way back to the house, maybe 45 minutes ago. I'm just kind of going over some things, listening to things, just getting prepared for the show, right?
Sure.
And I found myself kind of staring myself in the mirror, and I was almost ashamed because I'm like, this team is everything I love about basketball.
Everything, Ox.
You know what I mean? This team doesn't have the big super star with the big ego. It's a bunch of young guys that are tenacious on defense. They're scrappy. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to figure out what is it that I'm not grasping. You know what I'm saying? That got TJ McConnell, Pascal Siakam, Nimyard, Nesmith, my type of guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And so I'm just like, wow, what is it? Until I'll come to the realization it's not so much them. It's not so much them that I don't believe in as much as the Knicks that I do believe in, like OG, McHale. I think these guys are these guys, but supercharged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think when you see Nesmith and Nimrod,
Mhm.
And you know what I'm saying? I might look at Mikhail and OG and be like, yeah, that's kind of like their big brothers, you know.
Yeah.
And I look at Tyrese Halliburton, and I'm just like, yeah, he's nice, but Jalen Brunson has turned me into a believer. You know,
Sure.
like
I can get with that.
I know he's serious in that, especially in that fourth
Mhm.
quarter. I don't think they have anybody that could score with him.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like the team aspect where Tyrese doesn't have to score 30 because we got
Mhm.
5 guys that can give us 18, or you know, a couple of them that go give you 20 plus or whatever. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I do really like this team, and I said it today. I gave Rick Carlisle his credit. You know, I look at Rick Carlisle almost as bad as I look at D'Antoni. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I do not like those guys, but Rick Carlisle is coaching a hell of a basketball team. And to Mars's point earlier, he's changed with the times. You know what I'm saying? He's not a dinosaur stuck in his old ways, and I got to commend that. So I just want to kind of make it clear. I don't think Indiana's a bad team. I just look at the Knicks. And you know, I'll say the Celtics out of respect because they're still alive. I just don't think they're that level of basketball team. I don't know.
Right. It sounds what it sounds to be like, Ox, is Indiana, the Knicks. They're a better version of Indiana. That's what it sounds like you're trying to tell me about Indiana, about the Knicks. Everything that
some of their key players, some of their key players.
Everything that the Pacers got. Well, we got that over here too. Set better. Like you got a lead guard. Our lead guard is better. You got wing defenders. Our wing defenders are bigger and better. I think the separation with me when it comes to Indiana, we might not have what you have over there in terms of talent, but we're pretty close in that talent. I don't think the talent clears. I do think that we're pretty close in that talent, and I think the separator is we have more of that. So the stuff that you are better than us at, like wing defenders. Okay, we got more of them. You might have 2 that are better than ours, but if we got 4 of them that are awesome, I think that trumps your 2 that are better than our 2. If we got 4 of them, if you got a lead guard that's better than your lead guard is better than our lead guard, all right, I could get with that. But if we got 2 lead guards that's better than your lead guard, that's better than your backup lead guard, I think that trumps your lead guard. If you got if you got both 6 or 7 rotation guys, if you got like you just talked about, like you got your big guy in Mitchell Robinson. Well, we got 3 of those. We got Turner and we got Bryant. So all 3 of those against your big guy, I think that trumps yours. So from a talent standpoint, I think that you may have us, but I think that we have more of the other stuff than you do. And I think that it's going to take more energy for you to complete what you're trying to do as opposed to what we do.
So you're seeing this Pacers team in the finals then?
I just think that, to be honest with you, and as much as I dig the Knicks, I think that this Indiana team, I think that they're more of a unit, and I think that they have more as a unit. I ain't even talking about as individual players. I just feel like as a unit, I feel like they're more of a unit and more cohesive than the Knicks. And I think that they can outlast the Knicks because I think that their style of play, I think that that's going to ultimately wear the Knicks down.
I mean, who could have seen this coming even 3 weeks ago? Who could have seen this coming? Us talking about. I mean, I definitely didn't see this coming. The Pacers being talked about in the finals, let alone another Eastern Conference Finals appearance.
We actually had a conversation earlier today, or earlier in the year. I remember when they jumped on me would the Pacers be a dark horse in getting back to the East Finals? Both I forgot dude's name. Gifted. It was Gifted and Mars jumped on me, and I'm thinking to myself, well, he was in the East Finals last year. Well, here they are in the East Finals again this year, even though I didn't think that they'd get back, but here they are, back again in the East Finals.
Chill. You know what else is doing it to me? I can't help but overlook the injury situation with Milwaukee and Cleveland. Like, I'm not trying to take away from how good this team is. I just think that they slithered in there, and that's how basketball works. It's not. That's how it happens. You know what I mean? There's plenty of champions that got the Larry O'Brien Trophy in their arena right now that only got there because somebody broke an ankle, tore up a knee, broke a rib. I don't know, and you can't put an asterisk next to that. So I'm not trying to disrespect. I'm just like, is this Indiana team really this good, or have they just played depleted rosters? And will it show when they play against the Knicks? I think it will. I think the Knicks, I think the Knicks terrorized this team. I think the Knicks beat them in 5.
Now, if the Knicks end up throughout the course of this series, if somebody breaks down, am I going to hold that against them? Because what I can't do, Ox, is if I'm racing you and 80 yards into the 100-yard dash, I end up blowing a tire. That ain't your problem. That is not your problem.
It is
That's
not.
my problem.
And if we're running and if I blow a tire, you better not stop and help. You better run faster.
No. Matter of fact,
you better
I'm
run
faster.
Right,
Yeah.
because even wounded, I'm gonna still keep going. So
Yes.
you better put me to sleep. And if
100%.
Indiana does that, they deserve all the credit.
Yep.
And so I know even me bringing it up, it seems like, oh, you're just trying to I'm not trying to discredit anything. I just want to be honest about how I feel. I don't think this Indiana team would be here with those teams healthy. They're still here and they're playing good basketball. You know what I mean? If they win the championship this year, there's nothing anybody can say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. We can talk about it though. Yes. So in some other news, looks like James Harden is re-signing with the Clippers.
Yes, he is. I believe the deal is a 2-year extension. It's going to be about $75 million, and I think it's warranted. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, this team, they're not winning it, and I think that we've experimented with them long enough. They're not winning it. I think that this is more for an entertainment value because, again, we just opened up this new arena. Kawhi Leonard has shown that, he could get busy in the playoffs still, and we're going to probably get him for the last half of the season. So the first half of the season, we're going to need somebody on a moniker. And that person that we're going to have, that player that we're going to have on a moniker is James Harden. And James Harden has been one of the most durable guys in the league. He's been one of the most stand-up guys in the league. Still a great player, and I still think that he'll keep them competitive, even at 35 years old.
What's their GM's name, too?
Who is the GM for the Clippers? That's a good ass question, Ox. Who is the GM?
Anybody know?
Who is the GM for the Clippers? That's a good ass question.
Somebody help me out with this. I can't remember.
I think it's the assistant coach.
That's right, Lawrence Frank. Thanks.
I thought it was Van Gundy. I'm sorry.
Lawrence Frank. Thanks.
Lawrence Frank is the GM.
Lawrence Frank, are you fucking stupid?
What are we supposed to do, Ox? What are we supposed to do, Ox? Because if we do it, if we give him right, if we give him that kind of grace, right? If we give him that kind of grace, my question to you is, what other way are we going in? If that's the case, which way are we going? If we're not gonna go with James Harden, what are we doing? Are we moving on from this group? Are we moving on from Leonard? Are we moving on from the whole group? What are we doing?
Not moving off of Leonard. No.
Damn. So we obviously not moving on from Kawhi Leonard, right? I can get with that part, right? So if we're not moving on from Kawhi Leonard, so if we're still building this thing around Kawhi Leonard, who has shown that he can't give you 82 games in a season, he can't give you 60 games in a season. We have to have something to suffice up until we can get him ramped up and rolling again. And what other options do we have? Because if you think about Trae Young is already locked up. Halliburton's already locked up.
It don't gotta be no superstar. It don't gotta be a superstar like that, chill. Don't gotta be all that. I'm saying they can let him go. And I don't know, chill. Everybody want to go home. Bring Drew and DeMar home. Let them two have a shot at it. Let Drew Holiday and DeMar DeRozan have a shot at it or something. Anything.
Mm-hmm. Come on home, guys.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe not really, but just like you can't. Did you see that game 7? Am I the only one that watched that?
No, you seen it, Ox. And the fact that you saw that, you weren't. I'm not surprised. I mean, this is who James Harden is. We've all known that at some point we're going to get that James Harden game. We all knew that we were going to get that James Harden game, right? I thought I'd already gotten it. I didn't think that I was going to get it in game 7. I thought that I'd already gotten it early. I want to say game 5. Game 4, game 5, I'd already gotten that James Harden game. Well, turns out he gave me a double dose because I got game 7 too. So this is who James Harden is. I think this signing of James Harden is more of just to stay afloat. And once we get to the playoffs with Kawhi Leonard, we'll give it a shot. We'll see what happens.
Maybe so. I mean, I guess if Bogey and Norman would have came to play earlier, it wouldn't even have came to
That'd
that.
be nice. That would have been nice. Yes, that would have been nice if you could have helped
I
us
guess I
out.
can't blame it all on him. I'm gonna get past it. I'm gonna get past it. Chill. So Brown and White united in Boston. Never thought we'd see that, right? There's still hope. Chill. I mean, isn't there?
I don't think so, but okay. I can appreciate what this Boston Celtic team did. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to discount how good this Celtic team is, right? This is a damn good team. And it's obvious that they aren't decimated without their best player. It's obvious that they aren't completely, just destitute without their best player. No, they still got a damn good unit and they still do a lot of things really well, right? So all signs point to the Knicks being the better. All signs point to the Knicks being in a better situation right now. What I mean when I say that, Ox, is you have the home floor. You're up in the series. Their best player isn't available. You still have guys who are competent. The Celtics still have guys that are competent. But when you match up these teams, this Celtic team without Jason Tatum and without your best ball handler, so now your style of play has to change. And when we get to New York, where it's going to be a raucous crowd, where we have to go to Jaylen Brown more, where we have to go to Derek White more, where we have to go to guys like Luke Cornett more. I know that sounds ridiculous. We got to go to guys like that more. I mean, it could get trickier. And don't get me wrong, I do think that this team is maybe a little bit grittier without Jason Tatum. I'm not going to argue that point. I do think that there's a little bit more grit to them without Jason Tatum, and you're going to need that against this New York Knicks team. You are definitely going to need that against this New York Knicks team. But I feel like if the Knicks can stick to what got them there, because even though you guys are grittier without Jason Tatum, we are that. We are grit. We are grind. OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Mitchell Robinson, Josh Hart. That's who we are. That's who you guys are too. But we're more of that. Like, we don't have the star power that you have. So because we don't have the star power that you've had, we have to rely more on that, which is why we got to where we got to. So I still think that all the heat is on the Boston Celtics. I think that they're the ones facing elimination, and if they lose, they're out. Don't get me wrong. There is an added pressure to the Knicks off the strength that if you lose, you got to go back to Boston for Game 7. But with them having a home floor and having the advantage of being up, I really like their chances. And I think you're going to see a different cat in this game 6, Ox. I think you're going to see a different cat. I think you're going to see a different OG Anunoby. I think you're going to see a more aggressive Mikal Bridges, because if we're being honest, Ox, they don't want to go back to Boston for Game 7. And they know that.
Hell no.
They don't want to go back up there. Hell no, they don't want to go back up there for Game 7. When they left Boston yesterday, the attitude was, we can't come back here. We can't. No, we cannot come back here.
My only thing, Chill, is that most great players have like that Madison Square Garden game, one of those memorable ones. Could Jaylen Brown maybe have a Madison Square Garden game?
If I could get a Madison Square Garden game at a Jaylen Brown, man, we having a different conversation about this Boston Celtic team. Yes, we are. If I could get I can get a masterful. And when you say a Madison Square Garden game, Ox, what you trying to tell me is like 42, 12.
I was thinking 43. 43 was the number in my head. 43.
I'm 42, 12, like 9 rebounds and 2 steals. That's a masterclass right there.
And the W, of course. Got to win.
We're not just leaving 42 on the floor and bowing our head and heading out. No, we'll see y'all in Boston. We'll see y'all in Boston on Sunday afternoon. Yes, we will. We'll see y'all in Boston on Sunday afternoon. So if I could get that kind of game from him, that would be legendary. However, I think about, as much as Jason Tatum is good for those kind of games, he's also good for a stinker. And Jaylen Brown is also good for one of those games. Just like I said to you yesterday, I've seen Jaylen Brown go for 22.5 against the Knicks, and then I don't see him for the rest of the game. I have not seen him for the rest of the game. But the difference here is that I feel like this whole team has to go to pieces. I feel like the Knicks got to choke these dudes out of. I think the Knicks got to choke these dudes into submission because they're not going to go away. They're not.
I'm sure they know. There's no way they can lose game 6. Honestly, if they lose game 6,
you don't like them in game 7.
Not at all. I don't like them at all.
They left they left Boston last night saying we can't come back up here. We can't come back here. We can't.
Now I'm not, of course, y'all know I'm not trying to compare Derek White and Jaylen Brown to LeBron and Kyrie. Y'all know that's not what I'm doing.
Chill out.
Y'all know that.
Doing that. Relax.
But when they won game 6, you kind of knew. Like when they came back, they won. What was that, game 5? When they won game 5, it was like shit. Like that was an ass whooping. They won game 6. It was like, oh, y'all don't woke Bron up. Y'all don't woke Kyrie up. All I'm saying is Derek White and Jaylen Brown kind of had that look in their eye yesterday. Like, nah, we not going nowhere. If
I think yesterday's
win one
game.
more, chill. One more.
I think yesterday's game, Ox, was indicative to who the Celtics were. If we're gonna lose this series, I can tell you right now, it's not gonna be here. Y'all not doing this on our home floor. No. If we going out, we going out with a fight. And as you can see from what you saw yesterday, you better get used to seeing that kind of fight. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I saw James and Kyrie go for 40. Both of those guys, right? I saw both of those guys go for 40. And I mean, that's 80 points between two guys. Now, if you're the other team and you like, damn, and then turn around, James goes for 40 again, and then Irv goes for 32, you're like, well, if that's what we in for, we probably not gonna win. And we've seen Derek White and Pritchard go for 40 in a game. So it's like it can happen. It can happen. It's not something that can't happen. I think that what I saw from the Knicks in terms of effort, and I hate to say this, Ox, but that game yesterday looked like it got punted. That game yesterday looked like it got punted. Like, we're going to get these boys back in New York and we'll take care of business there, which I am totally and utterly against that. I am not a fan of punting games. I am not interested in giving games away just to get you on my home floor, off the strength that if I could beat you in my building, I could beat you anywhere. So if I'm better than you, if I could beat you in my building, I could beat you anywhere. And I'm not a fan of this logic that, you know, we'll get you in our building and our energy will carry us. Well, no, that's not the case. You got to take advantage of your opportunities right now. And if we got an opportunity to end this tonight and get some rest, and the Eastern Conference Finals doesn't start till like Monday, I'm all for that. I'm all for that. But what I'm not trying to hear is, I'm not trying to hear giving games away so we could get you on our home floor. No, I'm not trying to hear that.
It's. I don't think they would do that. I don't even think Tibbs would play like that. I hope. At least I hope not. That's crazy. All right, y'all. We've made it to the portion of the show where we get to the lobby and pull up all the ball knowers that are taking the time out of their day to watch this amazing show. We thank y'all. Thank everybody in the chat and everybody that's here in the lobby. I'm gonna start with Brandy Paul. Brandy Paul, you seem like a new caller. Brandy
What
Paul.
up?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What up?
Sir.
I'm good. I love the show.
Thanks, brother.
Anyways, what I was going to ask is not about the playoffs, but I'm an Orlando Magic fan, and I just wanted to get your thoughts on us potentially getting LaMelo Ball in the offseason.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. I think that, you know, LaMelo Ball is one of the better league guards in the game. I do think that there's a lot of stuff that he could clean up, but I do think he helps you guys from a scoring aspect, especially from the lead guard spot, which you really need. But I think health is hampered you guys more than anything. If you guys can stay healthy, I mean, I had Orlando as a top 5 seed. If you guys can stay healthy, I think that's a big thing. LaMelo Ball is not going to help that.
Yeah,
LaMelo Ball is not going to help you. I mean, he's had 2 straight season-ending injuries, and those wheels. I mean, at any point, you know, they're really crickety, and they They could fall. They could come off the hinges real quick with him. So I worry about that with a player like that. From a talent standpoint, I do think he helps you guys. But your biggest issue has been health. And if you're thinking about health, LaMelo Ball is somebody that I want to stay away from.
Yeah, but I was like, because obviously Anthony Simons is someone that has been like apparently someone we like apparently targeting, but I don't like the fit as much because he's not as good as a passer.
Yep.
And I don't know. I don't think he's as much like winning. I don't see us winning as much with him. Obviously, LaMelo's like the injuries concerns, but also I think that just makes his trade value like we can get him way cheaper.
Yeah.
And I'd rather bet on that than giving up more, like potentially giving up more for Anthony Simons for less like production on the court.
Well, would you bet on? So if you betting on that, that means you betting on health too. When it comes to LaMelo Ball, you betting on him being healthy, and you betting on the money that you're paying him, and how it's going to affect your salary cap. You're betting on that because from a talent standpoint, yeah, he 100% helps. That part I'm not going to argue. Health has been your issue, and if you can't stay healthy, there's no reason to add LaMelo Ball to that because he can't stay healthy. So that's just adding to your problem.
In Orlando, for Orlando, wouldn't it make more sense to send Jalen Suggs to Cleveland?
For
And,
Darius Garland,
I think that would help both teams more than the other trades. I think Jalen Suggs helps Cleveland tremendously.
I wouldn't want to give him up. I think he could be one of the better like perimeter defenders in the league. So if we can get like put him at the 2, I don't think he's a point guard, but if we give it like Anthony Black instead, even though I'd rather bet on his potential, but if we could give him up instead and make that work, I'd rather do that than Suggs.
Gotcha.
I don't know what you're. I hear a lot of people they got this discontent with Suggs. I think Suggs is great.
I agree.
I do.
I do too.
I think he's great. I just think that you guys got hampered with injuries this year. I think that's what screwed you up.
Yeah, it is because he's he is the best 3-point shooter on our team. It's not really close. Him and Mo Wagner, and they're both obviously injured. But that's all I had to ask. Thanks for the.
Hi, brother. Good to talk to you. Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, so I like Suggs too a lot. I just know that if you're trying to get a guy like Darius Garland, more than likely gonna have to come off of him.
Yes, that's not gonna work.
And plus, when it's a trade, got to work for both teams.
This is definitely can't be a one-sided thing, no doubt.
Okay, let's see. Let me bring Classic back up here. Classic, it was up here earlier. What's up, Classic? Now you can come up and get your own takes off.
Yeah, what up, guys?
What's up, bro?
Yeah. With the Derek White, I had made that comment because I'm a Tatum guy, but Derek White, he is one of my favorite players. And like I said, I don't think he's better than Ginobili, but I do think, like I said, that Tim Duncan would still have those championships if you replace Manu with Derek White. But in regards to the game, though, like chill. Like I told you, what was the problem with this series?
You said that you like Cornette working with Jason Tatum more than you liked Porzingis because he was better in the pick and roll and in the pick and dive, and he was better on the glass and as a rim protector, he was better.
Right, and is that not what the game last night showed you? Porzingis was the reason that this series is what it is. And honestly, I think that if Porzingis doesn't play for this series, he would still have Tatum. He wouldn't have an Achilles tear because this season would have been over.
I just think it's wild. Yeah, I think it's wild to think that Cornette could have that much of a difference in the series. Like he's the difference in them winning and losing this series. That sounds wild to me. It does.
Yeah, I mean, he was the reason we won the game last night. Him, Derek White, and Jaylen Brown, they all played great together. And you saw like the Celtics, they had a bunch of movement without the ball, and they were running plays last night with Luke Cornette in the game instead of when Porzingis is in the game and he just likes to go to the post. And that's why, I mean, even though Tatum is hurt, I still feel confident that the Celtics are going to win this series, and I still think that it's going to be. I think it'll be a great series, but I think it could be Indiana as well and still go to the finals this year.
If they end up in the NBA championship, that would definitely be a feat, and I think that we'd be having way different conversations. But I mean, if that's true, then that sounds to me like maybe coaching is the issue because I understand that the playoffs are matchup contingent. All right, I get that part. But if Cornette can be what you say he is and what I've seen just yesterday, if I ain't talking about 7 blocks, I think that's a little bit much. But he's had his struggles at finishing around the rim. He's had his struggles of fouling. He's had his struggles of being a pick and dive guy. And he's been a rotation guy throughout the course of this year. And that's what he'll probably be for the rest of the playoffs. But to have that much value, that tells me from what I've been seeing that maybe he should be playing more than what he's playing.
Yeah, he should definitely be playing more, and I think that is I think it's a culture problem, but I think it's a front office problem. I think maybe the front office was pushing Missoula to play all these minutes because of Porzingis' contract. And I mean, like you said, like you guys know, it's always a business in the NBA. Sometimes guys don't play because they don't want to pay guys money, and I think that put the series in danger. But I think now that the fans have seen how good Luke Cornett is, they can't not play Luke Cornett or that's going to be a problem. So now I think that's where we have an advantage in this series, and
He
I think
has
they're
to
going
play.
to come back and win it.
Yes, he has to play. Yes, 100%. He definitely has to play.
Yeah, for
No
sure.
doubt.
But yeah, appreciate you guys having me
All right,
up, man.
brother.
Y'all have a
No
good one.
doubt.
All right, classic.
Yeah, he got to play Ox. Is there's no way that you can have it's like Valanciunas. If Valanciunas is on the Kings, if he ain't in the rotation, if he ain't hurt, then there's no reason why he shouldn't be on the floor. None.
Right. Luke Cornett.
I ain't saying Luke Cornett and Valanciunas are the same, but I feel like
Oh,
what he
yeah.
brings, I feel like what Luke Cornett brings to this Boston unit, I felt like it's something that's pretty valuable. Now, I'm more of a Cater guy. I felt
Yeah, I
like
like
Cater.
Cater a lot. Yeah.
I felt like, to be honest with you, I felt like Cater was better than him, and I feel like Luke Cornett will give you minutes sparingly where he'll look really good, but I feel like Cater. I feel like he's got more of an upside. I feel like he was better at the rim. I felt like he was a better rebounder. I felt like he did more than Luke Cornett. I think the difference is that he's raw. So I think they're still trying to work those things out with him.
Yeah, I think Luke at this point is probably more polished than
Sure.
Cater, and I would probably play Luke over Cater. My thing is when you said like that he has to play, I think Luke Cornett can give us good minutes, but I mean, and he played great last night. I'm not trying to take that away from him, of course, but I think they'll be okay without Luke.
Yep.
You know, I think but shout out to him though. He played great last night.
Yep.
Let me see what we got. Let me see. Leaf, we got Leaf Diggy. What's up, Leaf?
What's going on, y'all?
You woke, but you woke. Wake up, bro. You in the lobby? You sleep?
I am woke, man. You took forever to get me up here, motherfucker. Damn,
Take a
but
shot of espresso.
I'm fine, bro. I don't drink coffee. It's nasty, bro. I don't drink that. But yeah. Yesterday's game, I don't drink coffee. I really don't. Only person that drink coffee in my family, granddad. But yesterday, the Celtics played like a team that needed to stay alive. They played like a desperate team. The Villanova Tangerines, bro, like they had leads in that game, which I thought they was going to just continue on and continue to capitalize. But the problem with that game, they had trouble with the ball movement, and the Celtics got a lot more open threes. Celtics got a lot more open threes than usual. I'm seeing JB had a couple of open threes. White had 34 points. He had a couple of open threes. He was getting to the free throw line a bit. Cornette was the difference maker in the game, obviously, with the 7 blocks, bro. Like he was cleaning the paint, he was cleaning glass, kept plays alive, did a lot of things in that game that they needed.
So what happens? So what happens when we get that kind of game? Like that's a career high game from him, 7 blocks. Okay, so
yes, it is.
we go from here to tomorrow night. Are we going to get this? Or are we going to get something in between? Because if I'm being honest, if you've never watched the Celtics and you never watched the Knicks, you would think that kid Cornette was better than Cat. Like that dude is better than that dude.
Bro. Like listen, he looked like the second coming of Dikembe Mutombo.
If you never watched these two teams before and you've seen that dude, you'd be like, that dude better than that dude. Now the question is what are we going to get tomorrow night? Because I think 10 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 blocks, I think that's a bit much for a cleanup guy because they don't really run any action for Cornette. I mean, they run some pick and dive stuff, and the reason why they run pick and dive stuff is because they get blitzed. And when they get blitzed, they can drop the ball off to him at the rim, and he can score. That's not really running action for him. I think that's just part of action. So with that being said, what am I getting from Cornette tomorrow night?
Because Karl Anthony Towns is just that he's a cat. You probably should get somewhere in between, or maybe roughly almost the same. Be honest with
I tell you
like,
what, Leaf. I tell you what you just said. I tell you what, Leaf. I know that I saw Julius Randle posters getting torn down 2 years ago. I know I
yes,
did
you
see
did.
that. So if this shit go the way they talking about, if this shit go the way that they talking
That's right.
about,
Get loud.
we better get them stakes out. We better get them fired. We better get
Talk
them
that shit.
pitchforks out. We better get them stakes out, and we better get these dudes the hell up out of here. But Tibbs,
Yo, two wrongs don't make a right, fellas. We don't need to do this.
Hold on. Wait. I don't want to hear that shit, Bobby. No. That's not how shit go. That might not be shit over in California, but over on my side of the Mississippi, it don't go that way. If Kitty Cat show up Kitty Cat style because he getting moved around and he find somebody with some shoulder lean on him, bro, guess what? Them orange tangerine F's over on the other side of the goddamn bridge. There's gonna be a lot of bitching, and there's gonna be a lot of whining, and there's gonna be a lot of complaining. There go one right there. So I guarantee you, if Cat don't show up, you gonna hear, nah, he gotta go. Hit the door. Tell me I'm wrong, Bob.
All I know is I saw Julius Randle posters getting torn down. I saw get Julius Randle out of town. It's the same Julius Randle who made the All-Pro team for the first time in 10 years. The last All-Pro y'all had was Carmelo Anthony. That was it.
Time out. Correct me if I'm wrong, was Julius Randle not the best player in this 5-game series that just ended last night?
He was the best player in that series. Yes, he was. He was the best
all
player
right,
in
well,
that series.
Thank you for bringing up old history, but now I just got 2 quick points I want to make to you guys. I think that Boston, the way that they're playing, is a really good test for the Knicks because when the battle is done, we will know who won. But what I'm trying to simply say is this. If you look at how they're playing, this is a setup for Indiana. And I'm not saying that their pace is the same. Don't ever quote me on that. But they got everyone involved that can attack the basket. They got everyone that can shoot the long ball. They got guys that can defend. So we're getting hit with a lot of packages. So to be honest with you, if I'm Tibbs, I'm going to prepare like it's Indiana because now Tatum ain't there. Because of the thing is if you look at how they played last game, who was the one that was hitting their shots? White. Who was the one that was getting blocks? You know, everyone was doing their part. And Indiana does the same thing, but at a faster pace. So if anything, last night the Knicks should know, okay, this is exactly what we're going to be going up against, where everybody can get their shot off at a certain time and create leads. So for me, I think this is more of a setup or a prequel to what Indiana is going to give us. So if the Knicks are really about it, like you said, and I think we are, I need Cat to do a game. Remember what I told you? I've been saying there's 4 reasons why I think the Knicks were going to win. Brunson, Cat, and also how the defense would hold up and Boston missing shots. 3 of those things already happened with Brunson playing and how we won with the defense and how we came back with 20 points, which is why I don't understand. People don't understand. We came back after being under 20 without our best players on the court the first 2 games. Brunson and Cat were on the dang bench. Our top offensive players are on the bench, and we're still coming back from a 20 deficit. People don't realize that. So for me, now that we're playing in a different set because Tatum isn't there, anyone can get their shot on. Anyone can start a turnover. Even Brown, he had, 3 steals last night or something like that?
Yes,
as well. Look at how good he was. Look at how he was also getting to the free throw line, slowing up the pace for when we would come down and score, they'll come down and create a foul. Even though I thought it was a push-off, he got Jalen Brunson his final foul. So he was playing smart in chess when we were just playing aggressive. So for me, that's the same way Indiana's going to hit you. That's why I think Indiana is something that's beautiful, and I think that we should respect it, even if we don't understand it right now. But we got time to go back and watch it. So for me, I'm looking at Indiana.
So you're looking at the Boston Celtics game as a preview to what Indiana is, and this is how we're going to coach. Like we're playing, we ain't playing against the Celtics. In fact, we already passed you dudes. We playing y'all dudes like we're gonna play Indiana. Now, would that be opening up? Would that be showing my hand to Indiana?
No, because remember, we've done this before and we've beaten them, but then now we have Mitchell Robinson. We have different type of sets we can do. We even are using Precious now. You see what I'm saying? We even, like I said before, we magically come back. Even McBride's been playing good defense. If you look at even even another thing, Mitchell Robinson, he created 3 turnovers. Remember, he was playing defense, reach, boom.
turnover, went out of bounds, came back, and then he got a steal from Browns, came back again. This is Mitchell Robinson.
Yep.
When did he have hands like this? So you see what I'm saying?
Believe-
There are things we can mix up with you.
Mitch been on that.
Mitchell
Belief,
Robinson
you
been-
believe,
been-
you got just
Stop.
get in there. We got to have some dialogue. Y'all get it in because we don't got a lot of time.
Cowboy, with everything you just said, bro, like basically tell me that you're gonna lose to the Pacers without telling me that you're gonna lose to the Pacers. Because if y'all got
Boston
blitzed,
first.
well, y'all gotta beat Boston first. But if everything last night happens again to where y'all gotta leave open shooters open and then you got Cornette covering the paint and man in the paint and holding off Cat and holding off Mitchell Robinson as much as he can. Y'all basically in a 7-game series. Even if y'all do get out of the series, y'all probably ain't gonna get out of the series in one piece, because now y'all got another team that runs just as fast, plays just as efficient as offense. Has a mom and pop chain link type of passer on a team in Halliburton, and all of the struggles that y'all gonna have against a
mom
real
and pop. He
five-out
better
offense.
than that. Let's relax with the mom and pop. He better
No.
than that. Let's chill out with that.
I meant that with all due respect. I'm thinking about how he's more of a like
a connecting passer.
Yeah, he's a
or
table
he was hitting them threes. Did he not hit game winners?
Yes, he did.
Hold on, did he not hit game
Hold on,
winners?
real quick. Go ahead, Breezy.
I just want to say Jalen Brunson got to be careful not to get back problems for carrying the Knicks. Cat supposed to be a second option, but he took 11 shots. Mikal Bridges only hit 4 field goals. If Jalen Brunson, in a nutshell, not to be long-winded, he's carrying the Knicks. And what I came to talk to Chill about is it looked like 3 out of 4 of the teams possibly is going to never had a championship. It looked like one of the teams that don't have a championship this year will win a championship this year. That's why I really came up and to say other stuff. But since Cowboy Bob is here, I gotta say, I think y'all lose. I don't like the audacity of this Knicks fan talking like they playing against the Pacers, and when they just got their ass belt their ass last night.
Got them moving on.
Yeah, like
Always
but
the
straight
Knicks
belt
fan
the
that's saying
ass
all
last
that,
night,
man.
put linked over the lap, belt the ass, and you over here talking about, oh, we playing versus the Pacers, knowing damn well that the OG playing the way he did, y'all can't win. Yeah, y'all relying on him to be the second option over Cat when he's not there for that. Cat is supposed to be the second option, but meanwhile, OG is taking more shots than Cat. So it's just all nasty work, and you came in here with the audacity as if that y'all gonna do anything.
Get off the
when
pill, OG.
Have nothing.
Get off the pill, OG, and get the big fella the ball.
I see you Saturday.
Get off the field.
I see you Saturday.
Fellas, we'll get back.
I see y'all Saturday.
We'll get back at it on Saturday, yo. I appreciate y'all, everybody. All right, Leaf. All right, Cowboy. All right, Breeze.
OG,
Yeah,
get off the pill, yo.
Come on. Get off the rock, OG.
Get off the pill, yo.
Let me see. We got time for one more for sure, maybe 2. I want to hear what AJ Rivera has to say. What up, AJ?
What up, fellas?
What up?
Listen, I was listening to you guys on PC today, and I was wondering because, Ox was saying heavy is the head, which, by the way, on today's show, we had Ox quoting Shakespeare on the chat. We had Real Talk giving a soliloquy about dick riding, and then we had Swiper auditioning for his Harry Potter impression. Like, this is the wildest show this morning.
Hey, man.
But he said heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Mm-hmm.
If SGA, the main man at OKC, up 3-2, loses this series, does that invalidate everything he's done this year?
I don't know about invalidate, but again, it's part of the growing pains, because this is the same SGA who last year they lose to Dallas in game 6. I'm sorry, off the strength of what he did. If he doesn't do that, they don't lose. They win that game. That was the reason why they lost. I'm not listening to the logic of, well, we shouldn't have been in that position. No, I don't care about that. We lost because you fouled at the end. He went to the free throw line, made free throws, game's over. That's why we lost. So to do that, and for them to do that again, if it be off the strength of him, I don't think that I do think that we might have a different conversation about it. If it was off the strength of him.
What if he plays well those last 2 games? Let's say he averages 33, 5 and 5 efficiently, but the role players, the moment's big, and then all of a sudden they don't make shots. then we cooking them the same, or is it
Well,
just how we blaming the role player?
One, he hasn't been doing that, playing that efficiently, and number two, no, we don't. No, I don't think that they will. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm one of those people that I point the finger at the first person I talk to is the best player. Like, what did you do? Let me look at what you did first and how much better we could have been if you did more of this and less of this. How much better could we have been if you did less of this and more of this? So he's probably the first person that I'm going to look at. Now, again, to Ox's point, this shit is unfair. It is, but that's part of being the best player on the team. That's part of it.
No doubt.
All right, yeah. I just guess life. They said life's not fair. NBA's not fair, but we're the ones judging. We're the ones that decide if it's fair or not.
Fact.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, AJ. Appreciate you, fam.
Good to talk
Appreciate
to
you guys.
Yep.
Man, I know we still got a full lobby, but y'all know on Thursdays the show is shorter. So I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of y'all still in the lobby. I probably won't get to y'all today. Well, I definitely won't. Got 3 minutes left. So, man, but y'all, you know where to find us on Saturday, though. Real quick, chill, before we do close out, I want you to kind of speak to the importance of the fact that somebody new is most likely going to win a ring this year. The odds are in the favor of a new star winning a ring this year. What does that mean for the NBA?
In a day and age where we have the media spot that we have, and we live in an inclusive society, I think it's great that it'd be 7 different champions in 7 years. And with it being 7 different champions in 7 years, that means that now any front office is thinking we can win it. Any front office is saying, and it's not 7 different champions that we've known about. Like, we go from the Warriors to the Raptors to the Lakers to the Bucks, from the Bucks to the Warriors, and then from the Warriors to the Denver Nuggets, and the Nuggets to the Celtics, right? So we got 6 different champions. We'll have a 7 different champion this year. So if that's true, then I think that this offseason, what we're going to, introduce a new star, or have the star that whoever won it, I think that they will be pushed more to the forefront in NBA allure. And then 2, I think that it's going to get even more eyes on the NBA, because parity now is at an all-time high, because it's not just Celtics or Lakers, it's not just Miami and any or New York. It's any one of these teams to have 6 or 7 different champions in this decade. Oh man, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, facts. Just to clarify what I said, there's 4 teams left that haven't won and 2 teams that have. The 2 teams that have won are both down 3-1 in their series. So the odds are that a team that hasn't won most likely will win this year. So that's what I meant by that, just to clarify that for the chat. Chill. I just want real quick, I got to bring something up. Paul George alluded to the fact that nobody can play defense anymore. I felt like that was a pitiful statement. Paul George always saying some soft shit, but I wanted to know, how did you feel about that? Is that true?
Ox, I'm just so sick of hearing these dudes say that dudes aren't doing certain things. Like, guys are playing defense. That's just not true. The fact that Evan Mobley does his work early, Evan Mobley switches out onto smaller guys. Evan Mobley plays defense on the box. Dyson Daniels, one of the busiest hands and some of the best hands that I've seen in the league. OG Anunoby is not getting pushed around. OG Anunoby is one of the smarter defenders in the game. I have yet to see a guy who sits in a chair more than Alex Caruso and keeps the guy in front of him. You can't do that, Ox, if you ain't doing work early. You can't do that if you're not committed on the defensive end. You're not just showing up if you Alex Caruso and just standing in front of a guy. You're doing your homework. You know the spots that he wants to get to. You know his dribble package. You know how he wants to get to that left hand. You know he wants to get to that right hand, 2 dribbles and pull up, because you're watching film. These guys do their homework. Herb Jones is one of the better defenders in the game on the wing. Drew Holiday has done everything he possibly could against Jalen Brunson to box him up. The idea that these guys aren't defending still at a high level, that's just not true, man. It couldn't be further from the truth. It couldn't be.
Well, that's Huh. That's Paul George for you. And Duke, you're despicable. You're despicable, Duke. The way you disrespect Kawhi and didn't protect Paul George, Duke, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Never thought
But
about that, Ox.
But anyways, yeah, that's the show today. Appreciate everybody that came through, everybody that clicked on the link, everybody that didn't click the link, everybody that commented in the chat, and everybody that didn't comment in the chat. We appreciate y'all for watching. We appreciate y'all for supporting the show and the channel. And we will be back on the panel tomorrow. Not only will we be on the panel tomorrow, we'll be on playback tomorrow watching Game 6 at Madison Square Garden of the Boston Celtics versus the New York Knickerbockers. Can't wait to see y'all there. And then we'll be back on Chill with Chill on Saturday, noon Eastern. Y'all know where to find us.
Yes, sir. We will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. I know Mother's Day was last weekend and you talked to your mother. Don't forget, call your mother. If you're ever in the Portland area and you had too much to drink, call my man. He'll make sure that you get where you need to go. No doubt about that. We will see you guys soon. But until then, take it light. Take it. Absolutely, man. It's good to see you guys.
All right, y'all. We'll catch y'all, like I said, tomorrow on the panel, Saturday at noon. Don't be late, man. Take care of yourself and never, ever, ever drink or drive, man. We'll catch y'all soon. Peace.